بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحب ربنا ويرضاه. إخوتي في الله، نسأل الله أن يشفي أخانا عنتر أبا بلال، فقد مرض. نسأل الله أن يشفيه شفاء عاجلا. اليوم نأخذ من كتابنا صفة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Today we're going to read from صفة النبي. نحن في باب جديد. We're in a new chapter. قال المؤلف حفظه الله تعالى: الباب الثالث. The third chapter. يا أخوتي في الله، العلم في بطون الكتب. Knowledge is in the middle of the books. ونشكر الله. We thank Allah. We read books every day. نعم. عندنا دروس يومية. We have classes every day. وهذا بفضل الله وحده. نعم. That's by the goodness of Allah alone. نعم. كم وكم masjid ما فيها دروس. How many masjids? They don't have any classes. نعم. How many classes? How many masjids? Are there any masjids there's no Muslims in it? No, all the masjids have Muslims in it. No. Any masjids there's Muslims but they don't need any knowledge? Any Muslims that they don't need any knowledge? Their kids, their children? No. لابد نشمروا. Everybody has to do their job. Get this ilm. This is important. هذا يتعلق بديننا. This helps us in our religion. This helps us in our religion. طالب العلم وحفظ القرآن ما هو للأولاد. That's not just for the children. The children to memorize Quran. Everybody needs to memorize Quran. Quran is not the only thing that has to do with knowledge. Aqeedah is not the only thing that has to do with knowledge. It's a shamil. It's a whole package. And it is Arabic, and it is Aqeedah. The word Aqeedah is just so general. It just uses so general. And it has to do with Allah and His description. And it has to do with Allah. وَمَا يَسْتَحِقُّ مِنْ عِبَادَةٍ. What Allah deserves from ibadah. And it has to do with Allah and the ni'am that He gives us, and the good thing that He gives us, and things that He does. Things have to do with Yawm al-Qiyamah and the hereafter. Things have to do with other than that. أشياء كثيرة. الإيمان. What is إيمان? Then you have أركان الإسلام. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم عندي سؤال من يجيب عن هذا. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: بني الإسلام على 5: شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله. حديث من هذا؟ نعم. ابن عمر. هذا في ظني. أعتقد ابن عمر. نعم. So this hadith here, when the Prophet said بني الإسلام على 5, Islam is built on 5 things. First is لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله. أخذ هذا أصحاب عقيدة. Everything had to do with that, that's in the books of Aqeedah. As for the Salah, Zakah, أتت الصلاة, they just started off with Tahar. And أخذ هذا أصحاب الفقه. All of it is knowledge. We're in need of all of it. We're in need of all of it. على قدر الأنفاس. على قدر الأنفاس. Just as much as you breathe every time, that's how much you need knowledge. When you leave the masjid, what do you say when you leave the masjid? نعم عصام. ماذا تقول إذا خرجت من المسجد? What do you say if you left the masjid? ماذا تقول إذا خرجت من المسجد؟ ما أعرف هذا. اللهم إني أسألك من فضلك. But that's not. All I ask you for your goodness. That's when you say when you leave the masjid. And al-qadr and fast when you leave the masjid. Everything that you do, you need knowledge to do it. When you go into the bathroom, when you make wudu, when you relieve yourself, when you clean yourself, you come back in the masjid. When you see your brother, when you give the salams, everything you do, فيها آداب. وأنت مع أهلك, مع أولادك, مع جيرانك, عند العمل, while you're driving. نعم. قال حفظه الله: خصائص النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم المتعلقة بجسده الشريف. These are the specific things that are connected to the Prophet's body. These are things that are connected to the Prophet's body. وأنا ما عندي كثير. He said جسده الشريف, in his honorable body. And you hear people say that يده الشريفة, his honorable hand. Well, هو حقا, that's true, that is sharif. I have not seen any hadith of Sahabi, the people who shook his hand and looked at his face. I have never seen a hadith and they say Yedahu Asharifa, his hand is honorable hand, or Wajhu Asharif. Okay, I have never seen that. I have never seen that. I have never seen that. لكن ما فيها شيء، لكن أنا ما رأيت الصحابة يتكلمون هكذا ولا شك أن يده شريف. نعم. نعم. This is what we're taking today about the body of the Prophet. What are the descriptions of his body? Now, specific things that are specific for him. So we're in the chapter here of Khatam al-Nubuwah. Not the Khatam that goes on the finger, but the seal of prophecy is a sign on the Prophet's back. فنقرأ اليوم, today we're going to read from this long hadith of the Qissa of Islam, Salman al-Farisi. It's a long hadith, but the author, he did a very, very good job. And he just brought the parts of the hadith, and then the Yahumuna. He just brought the parts of the hadith that's connected, and that's what concerns us. ولكن هي قصة عظيمة. It's a very significant story. How this Sahabi, كان Salman al-Farisi, his family, they used to worship the fire. And one day, there's some people that used to come, some Christians used to come close to his town. And he went into town one day, and he met some Christians. He went back to his father and said, I found some people with a religion better than our religion. They worship the Creator. We worship the creation. His father tied him up in the house. He was tied up in the house when he said that. And one day he got away and he ran away. And he went from Christian. He went to a Christian. He stayed with him, studying with him until he died. But every Christian priest that he went to, Qassis, كان يجمع المال. نعم. كيف؟ نعم. فهذا أول القصة. نعم. أحسنت بارك الله فيك. And at the beginning of the story, his father sent him. نعم. And when he sent them to these tujjar that used to come, that's how they have filat at that time. No. So these Christians came and they went to purchase stuff, and he found some people that had a religion better than his religion. And anyway, his father tied him up. He escaped al-Haram, and he fled. But he went from priest to priest to priest. Some of the priests that he was with, they were knowledgeable people, but they were يجمع مال. ايش الآية يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن كثيرا من الأحبار والرهبان ليأكلون أموال الناس بالباطل. All you who believe, many of al-ahbar, that's a Jewish leader, والرهبان, those are the Christian leaders, they gather people's money up, they take their money on batil, on falsehood. So they will go to bury this priest that died, find out that he had like tons and tons of gold and silver. Some of them, from what I remember, they would not even bury him. He was like the beloved leader, but when they found out what he was doing, they just disregarded him like he was an animal that died. But each one also, each one sent him to another priest, sent him to another priest, sent him to another priest, until one of them said, "Listen, I don't know anybody left that has knowledge of what I know, but there's a prophet that's soon to come out in the land over there that has nakhal, as date trees." So after this last guy died, he said, "Well, I'm going to get in the boat and I'm going to go over there." But when he got in the boat, masakuhu wa ba'uhu abdan, they sold him as a slave, and he wasn't a slave. He wasn't a slave, but he got sold into slavery. So one day he was in the tree in the nakhla. He's working on the nakhla, and two Yehudis, two Jews, are talking at the bottom of the tree. And one of them said, "Yeah, you heard this guy that said he's a prophet, came from Mecca, and now he's here?" When he heard that, he jumped down off the tree. It was like, "What you said? He came from the thing." He said, "What?" He slapped in the face. Get out of here! Just mind your business. We ain't talking to you, you know. And that's all he needed to hear. So the guy told him, the last priest, that the sign of this prophet is that he doesn't eat charity. He doesn't take from charity, but he takes a gift, and he has a khatam on the bull. He has a sign of prophecy on the back of his neck. So one day, while he's a slave, but he gathers up a little money. He gathered up some dates or some food, and he saw the prophet and his companions. He came, and he gave him some of the dates. He said, "This is sadaqah." He said it on purpose. "This is sadaqah. This is charity." And the prophet gave it to his companion. So he said, "Hadihi wahida." He said, "This is one sign. This is the first sign." Then he waited a little later, Jama'a ba'd al-ma, and he came back, and he said, "Hadi hadiyah." He gave him hadiyah. The prophet gave his companions, and he ate some. Then at that time, the prophet used to wear what? He used to wear al-izar and the rida. Not like he had on the shirt like this. He just has on the rida. He just throws it on his back. Rida. So a man started to walk behind him to see this thing. When the prophet knew what he was doing, he's like, "Oh, you want to see? You want to see my back?" Nuh-uh. And man, Salman jumped on top of the prophet crying. The Sahabas don't know what's going on. Did you see this guy jump on top of the prophet, kissing the prophet, crying, kissing the prophet? And the prophet's telling him, "Tawal." The prophet's saying, "Come in the front of me, come in the front, so I can speak to you." And he's still in the behind of the prophet. That's the whole story. نقرأ فقرة فقرة الآن. قال رحمه الله قال حفظه الله وما كان بين كتفي النبي هو ما كان وهو ما كان بين كتفي النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. This thing was between the two shoulders of the prophet in the middle of his back. وكان من أعظم علامات المعروفة عند أهل الكتاب. This the Christian and the Jews, they know that this is the sign of the prophet. They know it. يعرفونه كما يعرفون أبناءهم. They know the prophet like they know their own children. They know the sign of the prophet. This is the greatest of signs known by Ahl Kitab. That if somebody comes with descriptions, he's a prophet. Well, in the Imam Ahmad في قصة إسلام سلمان الفارسي وفيه أنه لما نزل أمر الله بالنصرانية صاحب عموية قال له سلمان. This is when Salman was in one of these last Christians. He's a qasis. It's like his sheikh, like his teacher. قال له سلمان يا فلان إني كنت مع فلان. He said, "Verily, I was with such and such. فأوصى بي فلان. He advised me to go to fulan, to such and such. إلى fulan. He advised me to go to fulan. وأوصى بي فلان إلى fulan. This person advised me to go sit with this other person. ثم أوصى بي فلان إليك. And then that person advised me to come to you. I've been going from teacher to teacher to teacher. I stay with them until they die. وإلى من توصيني بي وما تأمرني. Who do you advise me to go to now that you're dying? And what do you advise me with? قال أي بني والله ما أعلمه أصبح على ما كنا عليه أحد من الناس آمرك أن تأتي. I don't know anybody what I was upon that I can advise you to go to them. I don't know anybody left today. لكنه قد أظلك زمان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم مبعوث بدين إبراهيم يخرج بأرض العرب مهاجرا من أرض بين هرتين بينهما نخل به علامات لا تخفى. He said that what's approaching you is the time of a prophet is about to be sent. This time is coming. The prophet is about to be sent. He's sent with the religion of Ibrahim and Tawheed. He's going to come out in the land of the Arab. That's what he said. Muhajiran. He's going to come making hijrah from another place. But they have other. He's يتكلم عن ما وجد في الإنجيل. He's speaking about what he found in the New Testament. That's what he's talking about. And he found Sifat al-Nabi, and he explained it to Salman al-Farisi. Who from them is going to admit to this? Come on. هذا كبر. نعم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يبين في كتاب الكريم that the Jews and the Christians, they had shahna, hatred amongst themselves before we came along. فقالت اليهود ليست النصارى على شيء. فقالت النصارى ليست اليهود على شيء. The Christians said, the Jews said the Christians, they ain't about nothing. How could it be about nothing? They believe in Musa, and they believe in Zachariah, and they believe in Ibrahim and Noah. How can you just say that they're not about nothing? And the Christians, they said the Jews, they ain't about nothing. They have ahkam, they have halal and haram, they have a zabiha, they have a way that they slaughter. But both of them exaggerate. نعم. ويبغي بعضهم بعضا. نعم. حتى الله سبحانه وتعالى said to his prophet, قل يا أهل الكتاب لستم على شيء حتى بهذا القيد حتى تقيموا التوراة والإنجيل وما أنزل إليكم من ربكم. Allah said to say to the prophet, say, O people of the book, you all are upon nothing until, with this restriction, with this condition, until you establish what is in the Old Testament, in the Torah, and the Injil, and that which has been revealed to you, meaning the Quran. Nah. So if they were unsaf, if they were fear, if they weren't mutakabbir, they would say, well, who in this whole world is Yuthni ala Musa with Torah? Who does that? نعم. ويثني على إبراهيم إسماعيل وإسحاق ويعقوب والأسباط. Who? The Hindus do that? The Hindus, they believe in Musa and Ibrahim? No. The Buddhists? No. But that's actually Muslims. فلو كان النصارى, if the Jews were munsif, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, what Tur? You know what Tur is with the Jews? That Jabal is azim. And the being of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when it comes to Masur, he's swearing by that mountain. Allah yuqsim, he's swearing by it. بل كان المسلمون يتوجهون إلى هذا الجبل إلى بيت المقدس في أول الإسلام. That was their qibla. That's where they used to pray, in that direction. If they were munsif, they would say, well, you know, this guy's got that. They're upon haq. Like al-kibr, al-baghi. If the Christians, you know what the Jews say about Isa ibn Maryam? I know what is zina. They said that Isa is a child of fornication. I don't believe in that miracle, bro. Lo and behold, what they're doing years and years of arguing about that, lo and behold, Yati Muhammad ويثبت هذا. محمد comes and ويؤيدهم على قولهم واعتقادهم محبتهم. They يحبون عيسى ويحبون مريم. نعم. عليه الصلاة والسلام. The Muslims come and agree with them with that. And the prophet is مصدقا لما بين يديه. He just confirming that which came before. If they were munsif, they were just honest. من الذي يحرم الفواحش في هذا الزمن؟ من؟ المسلمون. من الذي يحرم الخمور والغش والربا؟ من؟ Who says interest is haram? It's in their books that it's haram. You think the Buddhists have some ahkam in riba? You think they have some ahkam in bid'ah? Huh? ولكن متكبرون. They're arrogant. They're arrogant. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says that time has approached that a prophet is going to come. He's describing it. He's a muhajir. He's coming from one place. He's in the place of the Arabs. He's going to be making hijrah to another place. Bihi alamatun la takhfa. He has signs that can't be hidden. Ya'kulul hadiyah. He takes gifts. Eats from it, partakes from it. If it's a gift, he can partake from it. Wala ya'kulu sadaqah. I mean, this is just something new in his head. Salman never heard of this before. He doesn't know. Who Pharisee can ya'bud an-nar? That's why he told his father, I found somebody with a deen better. We worship the fire. These British people are worshiping Rabbuna. These are what they worship the creator of the fire. It's a better religion. But what do you mean it's a better religion? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, adhilanana. He made it permissible for us to marry a Jewish woman. She's Kitabian. Or what? A Christian woman, if she's Kitabian. You can't marry a Hindu woman. Yeah, marry ala shay. You can't marry a Buddhist woman. La haram. Hatta al-humum. إذا ذبحوه على طريقة صحيحة. Even they meat, if they slaughtered it correctly. You can't eat no meat from no Hindu, no matter if he said Bismillah. And he's like, he's a Hindu. You can't eat that meat. No. Or Buddha, you can't eat that. Minhum ala aslin. We admit that. We admit that. You think they would admit that? Ya Abdul Sabur. Yeah, the kibber. No. Look how Allah speaks about the Torah fi kitabillah and how he speaks about the Injil. He belittles it? No, he honors it. No. So now he's telling him about the descriptions. Baina katifehi khatamun nubuwah. Between his two shoulders is a seal of prophecy. فإن استطعت أن تلحق بتلك البلاد فافعل ثم مات. He said, if you could get over to that land over there, do so. And then he died. وفيه, in this long hadith, this is another part of it. وقد كان عندي شيء, I had some money. وقد جمعته فلما أمسيت أخفته. I said, I had some money. When the night came, I took it. فذهبت إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وهو بقباء. He's in this area of Medina called Quba. Now I came to the Prophet, he's at Quba. فدخلت عليه, I came upon him. فقلت له إنه قد بلغني أنك رجل صالح. It has reached me that you're a righteous man. ومعك أصحاب لك, and you have companions that are with you. غرباء, they're foreign, they're not from this land. نعم. ذو حاجة, and that they're in need. نعم. فهذا الشيء كان عندي للصدقة. There's some sadaqah for them. Sadaqah for you all. قال فرأيتكم أحق به من غيركم. I see that you all are more deserving of this charity than other than you all. Yeah, this is sadaqah for you all. قال فقربته إليه. Okay. So I gave it to him. فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لأصحابي كلوا وأمسك يده فلم يأكل. He told his companions, partake, eat from this. وأمسك. He didn't take from it. He didn't take anything from it. فقلت لنفسي هذه واحدة. I said to myself, this is the first sign. It's happy. This is the first sign. This is one. ثم انصرفت عنه فجمعت شيئا فتحول رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إلى المدينة. Then he's just a worker. He left. He gathered up some more food, whatever he had to give. نعم. And the Prophet moved from Quba. Now he's in Medina. تحول إلى المدينة. He moved to Medina. ثم جئت به فقلت. He came whatever he had, and he said, إني رأيتك لا تأكل الصدقة، هذه هدية أكرمتك يا بها، أكرمتك بها. He said, I see that you didn't eat the charity. This is a gift. I honor you with it. فأكل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم منها وأمر أصحابه فأكلوا معه. So the Prophet partook from it, and he told his companions also to take. فقلت لنفسي هاتان اثنان. I said to myself, these are two signs. It's just one more left. ثم جئت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وهو ببقيع الغرقد. الغرقد هذا المقبرة. I came to the Prophet and he was just in this area called Al-Baqi' al-Ma'ruf, where the maqbara is, where the grave is. وقد تبع جنازة من أصحابه عليه شملتان له. The Prophet followed janazah and he had shamlatan. Meaning he had on the izar and he had a rida in front that he just wraps around his upper body. وهو جالس في أصحابه. He's sitting amongst his companions. فسلمت عليه. I gave him the salam. ثم استدرت أنظر إلى ظهره هل أرى الخاتم الذي وصف لي صاحبي. I gave him the salams and I started walking around behind him to see if I see the sign. فلما رآني رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم استدرته عرف أني أستثبت في شيء وصف لي. When the Prophet saw me walking behind him, he knew that I was checking out some information that was described to me. He knew what I was doing. فألقى رداءه. He took his rida off. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. نعم. فألقى رداءه. He took it off. عن ظهره فنظرت فإذا خاتم عرفته. So I saw the sign in his back. I know was it. فانكببت عليه أقبله وأبكي. I jumped on top of him. I started crying and I started kissing him. Could you imagine what the Sahaba Abu Bakr and Ummah was like? Who is this guy here? Could you imagine? Naam. La ilaha illallah. قال لي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم تحول. Prophet saying, come in the front. I mean, he's on top of the Prophet, kissing him and crying. And he's like, come around so I can speak to you. نعم. فتحولت فقصصت عليه حديثي. I came around and I told him my story. It's a long story. All the way back when his father sent him tijara and he ran into the Christian. Now, فهذا هو يذكر أحاديث في هذا الباب. كل يوم نقرأ شيئا منه حتى ننتهي. هذا في هذا يعني فوائد كثيرة. And that is a lot of فوائد. But لما لم يقبلوا, when the Christians and the Jews, they didn't have the humility to step up and respect that. They came after Sadiq. So let's remind them. That's our da'wah. Now, wasn't in your book that the Prophet said, don't you know that the Prophet said that, and that he calls to this, and that he believes in Musa, and that he believes in Ibrahim, and that he believes in Harun, and that he calls to this and that and that. They have to admit it. They have to admit it. Now, I was young. One day I was writing up things that the Jews and the Christians disagree. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يقول إن هذا القرآن يقص على بني إسرائيل أكثر الذي هم فيه يختلفون. هكذا الآية يا صفوان. This Quran, it explains the things that the Christians and Jews differ upon. So if you came and I asked the Christian, I said, you know what the Jews say about Maryam? The Jews say she's a zania, she's a fornicator. وأن ابن مريم هو ولد زنا. نحن نحبها. We have a surah, we have a chapter, Surah Maryam. It's called Surah Maryam. And we believe أنها ولدت بدون زوج, that she gave birth. I said to him, من على الحق نحن أم اليهود? Who's on the truth? هذا إلزام. إلزام. You have to answer. I said, who's on the truth? The Muslims or the Yahud? Wallahi. Wallahi. I refused to look at his eyes, his forehead, his nose. I just looked at his lips. Wallahi ma taharrakata. His lips didn't move. Tajammad. Asbaha Solomon. He became a statue. And have a kibr. He could not say, نحن نوافقه. We agree with him. في حق عيسى. في حق مريم. He couldn't say. No. The same thing. We could go to the Jews and ask them questions. Who's on the haq? We are the Jews. The Christians, most of them, they don't slaughter and say Bismillah. We slaughter, we say Bismillah. And so on, and so on, and so on. Ilzamat. Things that you have to admit. في الفضل الإسلام. فضل الإسلام. ولكن نحن مشغولون بمشاكل المسلمين. We're busy with the Muslims, you know. So if we're on a bus, that's Allah for his protection. And there's an accident, haditha kabira. It's an accident. The bus flipped over. Some people are hurt, some people are on a qaid, just about to die, and some people died. Some people got hurt, some people are barely living. Who are we going to deal with first? We're going to take the people that are hurt, the people that are just barely hanging on to life, and those that are dead, we're going to leave them for last, right? We have to start with the Muslims. Muslims are hurt, injured, ta'awar. Na'am. We're busy with the Muslims in this accident that happened. Na'am. In this catastrophe that we're in, we're busy saving the Muslims. The kuffar qad matu. Qulubuhum qad matu. We have to get with them later. After we save this, we'll come back and we'll get them. Na'am. انشغلنا عن الدعوة. We've been preoccupied. بمشاكل المسلمين جهل المسلمين نعم نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى العافية but that نستعين بالله نعم واجب عندنا واجب we have to call them to Islam ولكن بالحكمة التي هي أحسن with wisdom الجدال when you have a جدال أنت تلزم صاحبه بقوله. That's what a jidal is. When you have a debate, you're going to hold somebody to their statement. You said that that's batil, or you said you're going to hold them to that statement. So it's like you get him in the corner. When he tries to go out this way, you go, nope, you said that. When he tries to go that way, you say, nope, you got to go, no, until you just get him in the corner. You admit or you don't admit. Can't go anywhere else now. You have to set up the stage just like that. Come from here. He tried to go that way. No, put him back over. He tried to put him back over there. يا أحمد أنت معي. You have to have علم. ما يحتاج إلا حجة. ما يحتاج إلا حجة. من عنده علم قوية حجته. نعم. طيب نأخذ اليوم من عمدة الأحكام. قال المؤلف رحمه الله تعالى ونحن في الحديث الخامس والثلاثين 30 حديث number 35 عن عبد الله بن عمر ونحن في باب الجنابة. We're in the book of Janaba, major ritual impurity. عن عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله عنه قال يا رسول الله أيرقد أحدنا وهو جنوب؟ قال نعم إذا توضأ أحدكم فليرقد. Umar radiallahu anhu, he said to the Prophet, can one of us go to sleep and he's junub? While he's in the state, for example, after having relations with his wife, can he just sleep like that? Meaning, does he have to take a bath? That's the question. Does he have to take a bath right at that time? Or can he sleep? So, قرأنا حديث أبي هريرة. We read the hadith of Abu Huraira أن لقيه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ببعض طرق المدينة. The Prophet ran into him and he was junub. So it shows it's permissible to delay the ghusl. It's permissible to delay it if you do not. But can you sleep like this? Can you sleep? So the Prophet ﷺ said when he asked him, can one of us sleep while he's in this state of impurity, major impurity? Qala na'am, yes, if one of you makes wudu, then sleep. Yes, if he makes wudu. وَالصَّحِيحُ عَلَى هَذَا, that which is correct is that it's mustahab, it's not wajib. It's not wajib. But the Prophet did not do it. The Prophet did not sleep without making wudu or making a ghusl. Nah, but it's permissible. But the Prophet did not sleep, except that he either made ghusl or what? Or he made the wudu. When you make wudu, what does it do? What does it do? يخفف. It lightens the janaba. It's still junub, but it lightens it. نعم. طيب. وهناك أحاديث في هذا الباب. It comes in عن عائشة رضي الله عنها في الصحيح. كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا كان جنبا. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, if he was in this state of junub, and after having relations, you're in a state of impurity. You can't pray like that. إذا كان جنبا, if he was junub, he was in the state of impurity. فأراد أن يأكل أو ينام توضأ وضوءه للصلاة. If he wanted to eat or he wanted to sleep, he would make wudu that he makes for the salah. So the Prophet didn't eat when he was junub, except that what? He made wudu. عندي سؤال. هل يجوز الأكل وأنت جنب? Is it permissible to eat while you're junub? It's permissible. نعم. So when the Prophet made wudu and then he ate, is he still junub? He's still junub. He's still junub. لكن يخففها. ما هو الحكمة? What is the purpose of it? Allah. لكن أدب من آداب الإسلام. This is like etiquette from the etiquettes of Islam. وجاء في صحيح مسلم من عبد, ونستفيد هذا كثير من شرح الشيخ عبد الحميد الزعكري الحجوري. الحق يقال هذه الشرح مفيد فمن وجده فليلحق به. صراحة انظر إلى اسمه إفادة ذوي الأفهام بشرح عمدة الأحكام. إفادة ذوي الأفهام بشرح عمدة الأحكام. نعم. فنستفيد منه. benefit from it. عن عبد الله بن أبي قيس قال سألت عائشة رضي الله عنها عن وتر رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فذكر الحديث. Abdullah bin Abi Qais, he said, I asked Aisha about the witr, how the Prophet used to make witr. And it's a long hadith, they mentioned the hadith, until he said, قلت كيف كان يصنع في الجنابة? How did the Prophet perform when he was in Janaba? What did he do? نعم. أكان يغتسل قبل أن ينام قبل أن يغتسل? Did he take a bath before he slept, or did he sleep before he took a bath? ما شاء الله. هذا يسمى طلب العلم. How would you call nail al-ilm, seeking ilm? He's asking these questions why Aisha is alive. It's going to come a time she's going to die. Na'am, it's going to come a time she's going to die. Where are you going to get this information from? Who knows the bath of the Prophet better than Aisha wa Azwaj? Who could know the bath? Do we have to make a bath like him? فذكر الشيخ عبد الحميد أن علماء يقول هذا من بعد الحكم في أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم تزوج أكثر من 4 حتى ينتشر سنته. This is from the reason why the Prophet married more than 4 women, so that his sunnah can spread. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاذْكُرْنَ مَا يُتْلَى فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ مِنْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ وَالْحِكْمَةِ. وَاذْكُرْنَ. What's that noon? ايش هذا نون؟ وَاذْكُرْنَ. نعم يا أبا محمد. واذكرنا ما أولا أي سورة هذه يا يوسف؟ سورة الأحزاب. ما شاء الله. الله يبارك فيك يا يوسف. Allah says to the woman, He's talking to the woman. وَقَرْنَ فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ يَا نِسَاءَ النَّبِيِّ لَسْتُنَّ. He's talking to the wives of the Prophet, and He says, وَاذْكُرْنَ. إيش هذا النون؟ نون النسوة. Is speaking to women. وَاذْكُرْنَ مَا يُتْلَى فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ مِنْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ وَالْحِكْمَةِ. Mention what comes in your homes from the revelation of Allah and from the Sunnah. Yeah, that's why He has all these wives, because they convey this information. So much so, النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: إذا أراد أحدكم أن يأتي أهله فليقول بسم الله توكلت على الله. بسم الله اللهم جنبنا الشيطان وجنب الشيطان ما رزقتنا. If one of you want to have relations with his wife, then make this dua. من صحابي. من صحابي يا إخوة. Who's the narrator of this hadith? Nah, Ibn Abbas. Now, when Ibn Abbas, he's 13 years old when the Prophet died. What do you know about Zawaj? He's not even about that. لكن هذه الأشياء خرجت. هذه الأمور، هذه العلوم. نعم. هذه العلوم من خواص, from the privacy of the Prophet's home. So I remember they asked Sheikh Mukbal why he doesn't allow the videotaping for the sake of the Nashr al-Sunnah. Maybe somebody might say something private in the room between him and another person, and it goes all over the entire world. Bismillah, Allahumma jannibna shaytan. Something private. Nah. Esma. And then he said, somebody might videotape it and make 1,000 copies, 10,000 copies, and it ends like that, and people forgot the whole thing. Ain't no barakah. No barakah. And they said, isn't that true? No. I feel sorry. That only depend on videotaping. Once you start videotaping, you can't go back. You can't go back without the video. You're not going to feel comfortable anymore. You're like, you can't go back. Once you open up that door, I feel sorry. هذا الحديث. هذا هو شاهد. Don't understand for me that I'm saying that the ulama are on mistake. Don't understand that from me. I'm just saying al-barakat min Allah. What do you think your pretty face going to do with the sunnah? I know your face is pretty. I know your style is nice. I know your beard is good looking. What do you think your face got to do with sunnah? Huh? What do you think your face going to do with Nashr al-Sunnah? Barakat min Allah. Lo alima ikhlasak. Don't worry about it. You're not going to need it. They didn't even have tape recorders and microphones and all that. وصلت إلينا نقيا تركتكم على البيضاء. I left you upon clear whiteness. It reached all the way up to us. I used to ask the Ajdad in Yemen, did y'all have pumpers? The people from the God, they didn't have this مضخة. قال لا, مين هاي مضخة؟ كان قلوبنا متعلقة بالسماء. لما واحد يشتري مضخة والقلوب وصلت هناك انقطعت الماء من السماء يا عم عبد الله. فهمت كلامي؟ هكذا يقول الأجداد. نعم. They used to have rain. When somebody gets a mill and he has a pump and the water pumps out of the ground, and these people have a pump, and everybody has a pump, the rain stopped from the sky. They said when our hearts were attached to Allah and we were expecting from the sky, we had rain all the time. But then when everybody just started depending on the waters in the ground, the rain from the sky stopped. أنا أنصح إخوتي الدعاة وهم على خير. نعم. أرجو لهم خير. أدعو لهم. نعم. أن يجدوا. نعم. أن يجدوا. This is a hadith مهم. So he asked Aisha, did the Prophet take a bath before he went to sleep, or did he go to sleep before he took a bath? قال كل ذلك قد كان يفعل ربما اغتسل فنام ربما توضأ فنام. She said all that the Prophet used to do. Perhaps sometimes he would take a bath and then sleep when he left Al-Janabah. Or sometimes he would make wudu and then go to sleep. Naam. Look what this tabi'i said. Alhamdulillah. الذي جعل في الأمر ساعة. All praise to Allah. He made the issue spacious. It's not confined to one thing. جعل فيه ساعة أنه واسعة. ساعة بمعنى أنه واسع. Yeah, you could do this, you could do that. Adin Yusuf. Imagine somebody, maybe one day he doesn't feel like getting up. He's tired. Imagine if it's wajib. If it's wajib, ممكن واحد يقول لي أهلي ما نقدر الليلة. أنا متعب. Maybe he doesn't even want to have relations because he's thinking afterwards, I gotta take a bath. Oh, forget it. فالله ما يمنع حسن العشرة. نعم, Allah didn't make, he doesn't want to make difficulties of having relations with your wife. Don't do it. If you don't want to take a bath, make a ghusl. Just make wudu. It comes a hadith عند أبي داود عن عائشة كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ينام وهو جنب. Is that true that the Prophet used to sleep when he's junub? Is that true? Yes, it's true. It's true. But this hadith has a ziyada. كان ينام وهو جنب من غير أن يمس ماء. He used to sleep when he's junub without touching any water. هذه الزيادة ما هي ثابتة. This extra wording من غير أن يمس ماء, that extra part there is not ثابت. That is not authentic. هو منتقدة. أنت صالح. This hadith here, it says كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ينام وهو جنب. That's the hadith. There's a ziyada, there's an extra part. And when the narration says من غير أن يمس ماء, without touching any water, he used to sleep. That's not sahih. That ziyada is not sahih. That the Prophet would sleep while he's junub and he didn't make wudu or he didn't make ghusl. No, that's not sahih. هذا الزيادة ضعيف. ولكن أصل الحديث الصحيح. فمن ذلك, we have adab in النوم. We have adab that we have to practice, and we have to teach our wives to practice, and we have to teach our children to practice when it comes to sleep. Imam Nawawi has a bab of sleeping, an adab of naum. So we want to read this hadith, just one hadith, and to see how many of us know these adab. وهكذا إذا دخلت في بطون الكتب فيها كنوز. When you go into in the middle of the books, there's all kinds of treasures. There's rubies, there's pearls, there's diamonds, there's gold, there's silver, there's precious stones. You wouldn't know it if you're just at the top of the book. You wouldn't know it. But when you get in the middle of the book, all kinds of things. This hadith is في الصحيحين عن البراء بن عازب قال كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, the Prophet said, إذا أتيت مضجعك فتوضأ وضوءك للصلاة. If you go to bed, make the wudu that you make for salah. This has nothing to do if you're junub or not junub. If you're going to go to sleep, make wudu. Whether you're junub or not, if you're going to go to bed, make wudu. فعندنا wudu للصلاة. نعم. wudu قراءة القرآن. wudu للنوم. نعم. wudu للنوم. نعم. ثم اضطجع على شقك الأيمن. Then lay down on your right side. Lay down on your right side. There comes a hadith about الذي ينام على بطني أنه ايش اللفظة مضجعة or المغضوب عليهم or something like that, but the hadith is not authentic. There's nothing, so sleeping on your stomach is not permissible. There's no dalil. And the Prophet did not sleep like that. There's nothing that the Prophet slept on his back and on his right side and his left side. The Prophet didn't sleep like that. But you can't say it's haram. And when the things that you say that is haram, rufi al-qalam an man, and na'im hatta yastayqaz. And the pen is raised off. There's no sin while you're sleeping until you wake up. Somebody fall over on his sleep. You're gonna wake up the brother. He wake up, sleeping on your stomach. Leave the brother alone. Leave the brother alone. There is no proof authentic that sleeping on your stomach is what? Not permissible. فيما أعلم. ثم قال, when he goes to sleep, he lays down on his right side, and then he says, Allahumma aslamtu wajhi ilayk. I have surrendered my face to you. Wa fawwadtu amri ilayk. My matters, I hang it up to you. And tawakkal. And I'll put my trust in you. Wa alja'tu dhahri ilayk. I turn, I flee to you. Ragbatan wa rahbatan ilayk. And they can yaqul wa dhannu an la malja'a min Allah illa ilayk. Wa a'udhu bika minka. So I seek refuge in you, from you. I fear you, so I flee to you, hoping from you good. I have fear in you and hope in you. But I flee, I turn my back to you, fleeing to you. Na'am. Ragbatan wa rahbatan. Ragbatan, I'm hoping for your mercy. Rahbatan, out of fear of your anger. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam called, Allahumma inna a'udhu bi ridaka min sakhatik. I seek refuge in your pleasure from your anger. Wa bi mu'afatik min uqubatik. I seek refuge in your safety from your punishment. Wa a'udhu bika minka. I seek refuge in you, from you. And that's what this means. Allahu alam. La malja wa la manja minka illa ilayk. There's no fleeing or running away from you except running to you. Man, who hakada fiha? Allah, this is azim. Nah. The only way you can flee from his anger is to flee to him. Allahumma amantu bi kitabika alladhi anzalta. Oh Allah, I believe in the book that you sent down. Wa nabiyyika alladhi arsalta. And I believe in the prophet that you sent. This is why you in the bed. Fa in mutta wa in mutta min laylatik fa anta al fitr. If you die on that night, you died upon the fitr. La ilaha illallah. وَاجْعَلْهُنَّ آخِرَ مَا تَتَكَلَّمْ بِهِ. And this is important. Make this the last thing that you say when you go to bed. What does that mean? Now, you don't talk to your wife and talk to you for the sleep. No, you don't do that. You make your adhkar. This is the last thing that you say. So you have to be up on this. If not, your wife is going to be upset. Why are you ignoring me? Why are you getting to bed? Why are you turning your back to me? Like, no, I'm my bad, I'm going on my right side. I didn't turn my back to you. The prophet right on his right side. What's better, learning on your right side or facing your wife? It depends. Depends on your situation. It's mustahab. Do alladhi huwa aryah lak. Mustahab though. It's mustahab. You're not gonna get your wife upset. You understand what I'm saying? And she needs some type of some speech, some attention. She might be, grieving or something. I'm practicing the sunnah. I'm laying on my right side. Don't say nothing to me tonight. Nah, he's out there. You know what I'm saying? It's not to that degree. Nah, yeah, you have to. You have to go on the other side of the bed. Tayyib, listen to this, ikhwati. فَرَدَدْتُهَا عَلَى النَّبِيِّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ. I repeated this dua back to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. فَقُلْتُ آمَنْتُ بِكِتَابِكَ الَّذِي أَنزَلْتَ. I said, I believed in your book that you sent down. وَرَسُولَكَ. قَالَ لَا نَبِيَّكَ لَيْسَ رَسُولَ. قَالَ نَبِيَّكَ الَّذِي أَرْسَلْتَ. He changed the word from Nabi to Rasul. He said, I believe وَرَسُولَكَ الَّذِي أَرْسَلْتَ. The Prophet said, لَا نَبِيَّكَ. Just that fine detail, Ya Ghalib. You have to remember it by his word. Not that I mean the brother said, no, I didn't say Rasul. I said Nabi. And he corrected him on that. We might think that is no thing, but with the Prophet, it was important. With the Prophet, it was important. هذا درسنا اليوم يا إخوة. أسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يبارك فينا. أسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى to bless us in our lessons. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك. أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت. أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.